Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for the transfer tips video for Game Week 24. We hope everyone's having a good start to the week. How you doing, Jordan? How's everything?
Yeah, everything's good. What a thriller to end Game Week 23, obviously. Yesterday, the Monday Night Football. But yeah, we're here to talk about, obviously, Game Week 24 and what it has to bring as well. And yeah, we're here to deliver the buy, sells, hold, ignores that we all have. And obviously, we're going to pass on to Huss for his first buy.
Yep, so here's the buy, sell, hold, ignore series. So yeah, guys, transfer tips. And yeah, let's get on to the first one. I've gone with Kevin De Bruyne as a buy. Now, he's already had over 110,000 transfers in ahead of Game Week 24. He's also had a bunch more since coming back from injury. Obviously, he's had a lot of price rises since coming back. I think he's had like 2 or 3, maybe more price rises since injury. So we saw his performance against Newcastle coming off the bench, getting a goal and an assist. Got a 7-pointer, getting an assist against Burnley. And then last night, he also picked up an assist against Brentford. And again, the fixtures is what is making us want to bring Kevin De Bruyne in. Because you look at the fixtures, Everton in Game Week 24, which is a nice home game. And after that, it's another 2 home games. And it's a double game week against Chelsea and Brentford at home. We know Chelsea are struggling, obviously conceding 8 goals now to Wolves and Liverpool in 2 games. Brentford as well, conceding 3 against Man City last night. They got them again in a couple of days, after. So that could be a really good game, potentially even captain worthy for De Bruyne. So I think De Bruyne will be a popular transfer in potentially going into that game week. And he's one that I am looking at bringing in myself. However, it is hard to fit him in because he's so expensive as well. So 10.8 million. But, I think if you do have the money and you are able to get him in, then I recommend him as a move, especially because of that double. After that, 26 is a nice fixture. And then Man United at home also, it is a good fixture for Man City usually. So, yeah, his underlying numbers, expected goal involvement per 90 as well, 0.67. So, we know how key he is for Man City. He's probably the best player along with Haaland. So, with them, they're a lot better as a team. I didn't watch the game last night, but obviously, I did see De Bruyne picked up an assist. So, I definitely think he's one priority, guys, that you guys should be looking at as a transfer in. Do you want to add anything on De Bruyne, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of De Bruyne, he's going to be very hard to fit in the teams at his price. I think I remember him being 10.1 million the last time I saw his price, but since then, I am surprised he's had that many price rises, considering he's only been back for 3 matches, and the first one he played for 20 minutes. But I guess a lot of people like the looks of him, and yeah, I totally agree with the buy. I think any Man City asset in midfield is a definite buy as well, considering how well that Brentford game went for them on Monday. But yeah, with De Bruyne, he's looking good and potentially captain worthy in that double game at 25.
Okay, yeah, let's move on then to the next buy. And you've selected Pedro Neto as a buy, which is interesting. Talk us through this one and why he is a buy for you, in your opinion.
Yeah, this is a player that doesn't have a double game week confirmed, and he's a single game week player. The reason being is because a lot of people ask me, especially in the deadline stream, are Wolves underlooked in terms of their assets? And I think after that Chelsea performance that they provided, I think, yes, that answers the question. They are a bit, I think, underlooked. And I think 2 particular players, I think Cunha is well underlooked, and his teammate, obviously, that I put as a buy, Neto. And considering Neto, he's been out injured for quite a while. His last game was game week 10 against Newcastle, where he did sustain an injury, and he only came back in game week 20, where he played about 10 minutes against Everton in that 3-0 win. But since then, in game week 22 and 23, he has managed to get 1 goal and 2 assists. So he is back in firing on all pistons for Wolves, and especially in the absence of Hwang as well, who's still in the Asia Cup. I think Neto.
Yeah, they've actually been knocked out today.
Oh, really?
Surprisingly, yeah, a shock result. So Son and Hwang are on their way back, and they could even be fit for game week 24. But I think Son's picked up a knock, so yeah, they are out now.
Well, that's interesting. Is I think all the more reason I think for this buy to be Neto in that case, because with Hwang back, I expect Neto's assist to again sky high. He had 9 assists before he got injured during the season, and he's already picked up 1 already coming back, or 2 coming back, and now I think Pedro Neto is definitely a buy. For the fixtures aren't too bad for Wolves as well. They seem to be scoring quite a lot of goals as well. I mean, they scored 3 against Man United, and now have scored 4 against Chelsea. So they are on a bit of a goal spree. And it seems like no matter what team it is, if they are struggling, and with Brentford at home next, Brentford have just let in 3 goals against Man City. So that's another good fixture that could potentially do well for obviously Neto. And Spurs away, again, another team that does concede a lot of goals, and the list keeps going on. You've got Sheffield at home, a lot of goals there. Newcastle away is not the best for them either. So all the more reason I think for Neto to be a buy. I think sooner the better, because now that he's back and fit, he looks like a nice differential at 2.7%, and at a cheap price as well, 5.6 million. So he is definitely affordable if you're looking to go a bit different and away from the template. I think Pedro Neto is the one that could provide that. Obviously breaking that template, and like we saw him last before he got injured, have a run of good form and equalise on his 2 goals and 10 assists that he already has this season.
Okay, lovely. So that's another buy out the way. Let's move on to some players that we think you should be looking to maybe sell and get rid of and out your teams. First one up is someone I actually own, and that is Gordon. Now, unfortunately, Gordon did get injured and he came off at half time against Luton because he was looking quite good in that game. He did pick up an early assist. I was getting quite happy thinking, still a lot of the game to go. He could get a goal and another assist potentially, but he comes off injured, and he was also seen pictured on crutches or with a boot on his leg. So doesn't look good for Gordon. So he's a sell if we hear that he's out long term. If he's out long term, then 100% guys, get rid of Gordon. If there's a chance, we hear that he's fit for Forest, for example, then obviously he's a keep. I still think Forest is a good fixture if he was starting, but I think it looks like he could be out for some time. So I think at 6.2 million, he isn't worth holding on to, because these 2 fixtures are the ones that you would have wanted him for, Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth. So get rid. If you can bring in a player like Jota, I know Jota's a bit more expensive than Gordon, but if you can go from Gordon to someone like a Jota, I definitely think that's a move. Even Gordon to a Foden, someone like that, if you can afford it, I think it's also a good move. So I'd be getting rid of Gordon just purely because of injury. I think he's been good this season, and I was looking forward, to playing him in these 2 fixtures, but unfortunately he had to go get injured. But for this an easy one, he's injured, so assuming he's still injured and we hear clarity on that, then he's definitely a sell. Let's move on to the next player, Jordan. You've gone with as a sell. You've gone with Bowen as a sell. Talk us through this one. An interesting one as well, because obviously Bowen had a lot of hype as well. Not been great the last couple of weeks. Talk us through this one.
Yeah, with Bowen, it is interesting because West Ham haven't looked great. I would say I've been watching their matches, and in the last 4, they haven't won a game since 19, and that was against Arsenal away. Since then, it just feels like West Ham haven't been the best that they have been throughout this season. It seems they've dropped off quite a bit. I think a main reason being that is Paqueta. I think he's a huge miss for West Ham. I think without him, it's sort of flat lines in that midfield and attack. And I think without Paqueta, it has sort of dwindled in terms of West Ham's results, because they drew against Brighton in 20, they drew against Sheffield in 21, and drew against Bournemouth in 22, and lost to Man United 3-0, which I thought in that game they had so many chances to score and they didn't equalise on each and any other one. And as much as Bowen was involved in that game, he didn't get any returns either from that one. So I think there's a lot of frustration for having Bowen, especially in the last 4 game weeks where he hasn't managed to get a single return. And the last return was in game week 19 where he got an assist against Arsenal. I think there's a lot of frustration, as you can tell from the amount of transfers he's had out now. 183,000 of you have decided to transfer out Bowen, which, I understand. The run of form hasn't been great for him, and West Ham haven't looked that great either. I think that is down to obviously injuries, and obviously Kudos is back from AFCON, but even with Kudos back, it just seemed like it wasn't the same West Ham that we saw prior to the obviously Arsenal game. And funny enough, they do have Arsenal at home in 24, so again, that's another fixture that looks not so great for them in terms of it was a very difficult one for them, even though it's a home fixture. Until I see difference improvements for West Ham, I think for me, any West Ham asset for me is a sell. And I think Bowen might save you a bit of money at 7.9 million as well. His ownership is dropping. You'd have a price drop as well. He was originally 8 million, but dropped to 7.9. And yeah, even though he's had 11 goals and 2 assists so far this season, I just feel like with Bowen at the moment, he's not one asset to go for. At his price, and I feel like there's others in the midfield that you could potentially go for, especially for those who have double games coming up. You might want to sell Bowen to bring a double in ready for 25, but I think for me, due to the performance and the form of West Ham in general, I think Bowen for me is a sell.
Okay. So you've gone Bowen as a sell. It's interesting, obviously. It's tough fixture coming up, but the 25 to 28, they actually aren't bad fixtures. Obviously, there's no doubles in there, but he's one to watch, West Ham, because I don't think the fixtures are too bad, but yeah, he's taking up a midfield spot as well, I guess, when there's other midfielders at the moment that have doubles, etc. Let's move on then to a few other players. So now we're going to move on to players that we think you should be holding on to. Now these are players that are being transferred out that we think you could give a bit more time to. And I've gone with Darwin Núñez as my hold. He's had quite a lot of transfers out, so 66,000 transfers out already. And yeah, where do we start with Darwin? So we saw Liverpool played against Arsenal on Sunday, and Liverpool were well beaten in that game. And Liverpool weren't great at all. I think that was Liverpool's worst performance of the season. And one of the main reasons, I mean, in my opinion, from what I was watching, I don't know if people would agree, I thought that Liverpool lacked any physical presence up top, and they lacked a bit of aggression with Gakpo playing up there. And I think if Klopp could go back and redo his team, I think Darwin would start. And I know sometimes Darwin could be frustrating as a pick. He could miss chances. He could, make the wrong decision in the final third. But with Darwin, Liverpool are just a better team. Their attack is way more potent with Darwin in the team. So I was surprised personally. I thought, was it an injury? Because Klopp did come out and say Darwin had a bit of a knock before the game, but post-match, was it pre-match? I can't remember. Klopp actually came out and said Darwin's completely fine, but he chose to play Gakpo because of tactical reasons. So Darwin was completely fine to start. As he came on, he did play about 20 odd minutes, but yeah, I think Klopp will regret that, not starting Darwin. If he could go back, I think he would start Darwin. But yeah, again, I was surprised to see him not start. But I think with the fixtures Liverpool have, obviously Liverpool have a double, guys. It's been confirmed now. So Liverpool do double in game week 25 against Brentford and Luton. So Darwin had a double game week coming up in game week 25, and he's got Burnley at home this week. And I do believe Darwin will start against Burnley, especially after Liverpool's disappointing performance. So I think Darwin's one of the best strikers to actually own this game week in terms of the fixture he's got, Burnley at Anfield. Then after that, it's a double. Now, we don't know if Salah's going to be back yet. So if Salah's back for that double, obviously it might make Darwin a slightly worse option because Salah will take minutes off him potentially, and Jota's there and Gakpo's there. But game week 24, definitely don't sell him. And looking ahead to game week 25 in the double with Luton and Brentford, if Salah's not back, 100% keep Darwin. And for me, Darwin's actually a buy as well because I'm looking to bring Darwin in, especially if Salah ain't back. So yeah, that's where I stand on Darwin. I think Liverpool are a better team, as I said, with him. 7 goals, 9 assists. And I do think he's been on form recently. I know against Chelsea he missed the penalty, but he got an assist that game, and he got a couple of goals against Bournemouth, got an assist against Newcastle, scored against Burnley as well in the previous fixture when they played away. So yeah, for me, definite hold for Darwin.
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of frustration for Darwin more reason because of I think a lot of people brought him in after Bournemouth when he scored that 11-pointer, and then as they obviously played him for Chelsea and Arsenal, he blanked against Chelsea and Arsenal. He was benched, so I can understand why there's so many transfers out for Darwin because that just adds more frustration. Not because it's his fault, but
he got an assist against Chelsea, didn't he? Yeah, he definitely. I'm just gonna double check.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, he did get an assist against Chelsea.
Yeah, he got an assist against Chelsea. Yeah, he did, but because he got a penalty missed and he got a yellow card, my bad. Yeah, he ended up with 2 points, which looks like a blank, but
yeah,
it's the penalty miss that kind of messed him up.
Yeah, because I wondered why he was on 2 points. I thought that was
yeah
weird, but Yeah, I think that's again adds to frustration that he only got 2 points and then 0 in the last 2 fixtures. So yeah, I understand why the transfers are going down for him, and people are taking him out for that reason. But yeah, I think he's definitely a hold for the double in 25.
Yeah, and even the 24 fixture, I think he's one of the best fixtures in terms of like Liverpool players. You'd want a Liverpool attacker, especially at home to Anfield. They want to bounce back after that disappointing loss. So yeah, I mean, I was surprised not to see him start, but that's gone now. We'll see what he does against Burnley. Let's move on now, Jordan, to your hold. You've gone with Estupinian as a whole, which is interesting. Obviously, as a fellow owner yourself, talk us through this one because he's been a bit frustrating as well recently.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster for Estupinian, and it feels like Zerbi's like a second version of Pep when it comes to rotation. But yeah, in terms of Estupinian, obviously he did play 10 minutes of the last game against Crystal Palace, where Brighton demolished them. Brighton demolished Crystal Palace 4-1, and Estupinian wasn't a part of that. And obviously before that game, where Brighton lost 4-0 against Luton, Estupinian was taken off after half time as well. So yeah, his minutes haven't been great. 55 in the last 2 games, and it feels like there's a lot of frustration. Obviously, that we've brought Estupinian in, and Service not really playing him, and he's not getting the minutes so far. But I think we have to persevere with Estupinian for a bit, because I think due to that bad performance against Luton, I think Zerbi made a choice of obviously benching him for that Crystal Palace game, just a bit of a reflection period for him. Just to show that you should be doing better than that. You're a better player and whatnot. So maybe that was just a reflection game where Estupinian would have played if it was a different outcome for that Luton game. But I think for the upcoming fixtures that Brighton do have, he's definitely a hold for, because they are nice green fixtures. He's got Tottenham away in Gameweek 24, which again, Tottenham do let a few goals in, and Estupinian as a wing back, if he does play that game, it could mean pretty good returns for him, and especially for a defender spot. So yeah, I think we have to definitely persevere with Estupinian. I think since he's come back for Brighton, he has looked really good. I mean, he got the first clean sheet for Brighton in Game Week 20 for them. They haven't managed to keep one since then. So I think he has made an impact for Brighton in the sense of keeping clean sheets and having a better defence at the back. But yeah, I think definitely for Estupinian, you can hold him for the next few fixtures, see how he goes, see how many minutes he decides to play him for, because I know he likes to rotate him between him and Lamptey. But I think down the line, I think Estupinian will become more nailed and play the 90 minutes of football he was playing before, obviously, his injury.
Okay, brilliant. Well, let's move on to some players that we think you should be looking to ignore. And these are players that have done well this week or in the past few weeks, and they are being transferred in heavily. Now, my first one is Højlund. Now, Højlund's been transferred over about 90,000 managers already so far this game week. Obviously, he's done really well so far in the last couple of matches. In game week 21, he did get a goal and an assist, I believe, for the 11-pointer. He also got a goal and an assist against Wolves for a 10-pointer. And then he got an 8-pointer against West Ham after getting a goal as well. So there's definitely some significant improvement from Højlund's goal scoring streak. 3 goals in a row now. And yeah, he's doing well. That's 4 goals in the Prem. So good total. And his ownership is still low, but for me, he's an ignore because there's only 3 slots, guys, in regards to strikers, and Haaland's definitely one of them. Watkins so far is one of them. And for me, personally, looking at my team, I'd want a doubler, whether that's Darwin, whether that's Tony. We probably want a doubler in there. And my priority right now would be bringing a doubler in, especially when he's got Aston Villa away. And Aston Villa away, we know Villa Park is a tough ground. Villa have only lost, I believe, once there in a year's worth of football. So Villa are very strong at home. And going away to there, I'm not so confident in that. I don't think you should be bringing him in for that fixture. And then after that, Luton away is it's not actually an easy fixture. With Luton are quite strong at home. And I'd rather have a doubler like a Darwin or a Jota or whoever there is, Tony. We know Man City are doubling in 25 as well. So I think prioritizing a doubler, even someone like Adebayo at Luton who's got a double, I'd rather have him than Højlund because of the double. So for me, he's been great in the last 2-3 games. but I think there's other more priorities that we have in our FPL team, and it's quite hard to fit, obviously, Hoyland in my opinion. So we'll move on to the final ignore that you've gone with. Talk us through this one. You've selected Madison as an ignore.
Yeah, with Madison, obviously it's nice for him to come back from being out long-term injury, and he has had a run of good returns. I mean, 2 assists since he's come back, so he hasn't blanked so far in his games since returning back to Spurs. The reason why I think he's ignored, though, for the obvious reason, the blank in 26 that Spurs have. Let's assume that we have Richarlison, a Chelsea asset like Palmer, and Liverpool assets as well. I think because Spurs don't double like Liverpool do, I don't think it's the right time now to bring in Maddison, because if you bring him in, you're going to have to get rid of either a Spurs asset, and I quite want to keep, as a Richarlison owner, I probably want to keep Richarlison and maybe take out Maddison, but after the blank, I would obviously want Maddison back for Crystal Palace at home. So I'm not willing to waste, I don't think, a transfer from taking it, bringing him in, and then taking him out again if you need to for the blank he has. Because you have 3 players already that blank in 26. You're going to have to get rid of one of them, and it most likely would be Maddison being that choice. So, yeah, I think for me, I think because of the blank in play for blank game at 26, I think it's the wrong time now to bring in Maddison. I think I would bring him in after, obviously, he has the blank, even though he has good fixtures, Brighton at home, Wolves at home, and 24 and 25 before the blank. I still think, yeah, he could return in both of those fixtures, but then you're in a predicament once that blank game it comes where maybe you have to obviously make a transfer to take him out, and then if you want him back in, you have to make another transfer to bring him back in. So I think for me, he is an ignore for this for the foreseeable until after the blank, and then after obviously blank game at 26, I think you can definitely look to buy Maddison for Crystal Palace at home.
Okay, brilliant. So if we could just get the actual off the top, if we can wrap it up and just discuss the 8 players again. So if you could just run us through who we've gone with, Jordan.
Yeah, so for the buys we think you should buy in terms of game week 24 is De Bruyne and Neto. The players we think you should sell is Gordon and Bowen. The players we think you should hold on to in your teams is Darwin and Estupinian. And finally, the players we think you should ignore for game week 24 is Hoyland and Maddison.
Okay. So there you go, guys. Those are our 8 players. Let us know what you think in the comment section. Also, hit that like button if you're enjoying the content. Make sure you are subscribed as well so you don't miss out on any of our content as well. It really helps support the channel. So like, subscribe as well, and share the video as well if you can on your socials. We'll take a few of your comments and then we'll wrap the stream up. Got Levi J. Hey guys, I'm lost on how to plan for double game week 25 and blank game week 26. Could you guys check out my team and help a brother out? Well, we could do that maybe on the deadline stream, but in regards to double game week 25, I think priority is bringing in Man City assets and Liverpool assets as well, because they have the doubles, obviously. So definitely prioritize that. And then, you might even want to take a hit potentially, depending on game week 26 and how many blanks you have. Damien, what would you do if you still have Son and I have triple City, 1 Liverpool and Tony? I mean, Son's actually back now, but I've seen some reports that he is currently injured. He's carrying a knock, so we don't actually know if he's going to be fit. Me personally, I probably would get rid of Son and bring in a KDB if you can. Go Son to KDB, or you already got triple City. Then Jota, if you've not got Jota, he's one. Darwin, again, I mentioned Darwin a lot. I'll be prioritizing Liverpool and Man City assets personally, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Calvin, FPL as well. All right, lads. Sorry, Jordan, you were going to say something.
Oh, sorry. Obviously for the blank as well in 26. So if Son isn't back for Brighton and Wolves, then maybe he's back for that blank. Then there's no real point of having Son until after in game week 27 and bring him in.
Yep. We also got. Just wanted to ask who's more important out of Tony and Darwin, Jordan. What's your opinion? Because you've got Tony as well yourself.
Yeah, obviously I did bring him in for 23. It didn't pay off because he did blank against Man City. But I think out of Tony and Darwin, I think there's more upside to Tony because there's not really another player that can match him in terms of goal scoring. because he's pretty much the main man, especially with Burma out injured. That just leaves Tony with much more, I say, attacking opportunities for Brentford. But on the other hand, though, Darwin obviously he is a good player. He does get the chances for Liverpool, but there is a lot more variation between goal scorers for Liverpool. Because you've got Jota that can score, you've got Darwin, Gakpo, and other such Liverpool players in that team. There is a lot of variation, but there's not much between them, I don't think, but slightly edged towards Tony in that sense because of obviously he is the lone striker for Brentford at the moment, and I see the goals coming more from Tony than I think I will from Darwin.
Okay. Me personally, I'm siding towards Darwin just because I think Liverpool's attack is the best in the league. They score the most goals, and I'd want the starting striker for me the best team in the league in terms of attack. SJ says hi. Made a small mistake transferring KDB out for Foden, 14-point difference. Well, as you'll see from my team, I had Foden on the bench, unfortunately, for that hat trick he had. So that obviously stung a bit. 20 points he got. So yeah, it does happen. Obviously, it was. I mean, the thing with Foden, obviously, he got that hat trick last night, but a lot of people didn't even think he'd start, which was a funny thing because there was some people think, is he going to start? Is he not going to start? And because if he was going to start, he was potentially a captain pick, but no one even considered captaining Foden pre-deadline because we weren't sure if he was going to start. So it's one of those. It's unlucky, but I've done something. I've done similar. I've benched him, but it's one of those. Maybe you can bring Foden in for that double anyway because he has the double coming up.
Yeah, we never saw that coming at all. I never saw that coming, the hat trick from Foden, let alone starting in that game. I thought he was going to be benched, to be honest. But yeah, it's fantasy and Premier League. It does throw surprises in the mix.
We've got Jenny Berry who says, I think Szoboszlai was a big miss as well. I think they mean going back to the Arsenal game on the weekend. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think Szoboszlai was a massive, massive miss. I just don't think Gravenberch, I thought had a very poor game covering. And I thought Arsenal's physicality in midfield definitely overpowered Liverpool. And Szoboszlai was a big miss in that regard. And Yenka, I have Foden. Is it still worth bringing in KDB? I still think, yes, definitely worth having both of them because they both can get you points. As we saw yesterday, Foden got the hat trick. On another day, it could have been KDB getting a hat trick in the double potentially. So I think, it's good to have both because we know how good City are and how strong they are going forward.
Yeah, I think the best three assets for City in that double are KDB, Foden, and Haaland now. I think that has pretty much solidified the attack. Go with all attack. No, I wouldn't go for any defender. And I think, go out all attack for Man City assets if you are looking to triple up on them.
Yeah, I agree. I'd probably go for the same three. But yeah, well, let's wrap it up here, guys. That was a transfer tips video. As always, guys, please like the stream and also make sure you are subscribed. We're back again on Thursday for the transfer tips video, so make sure you don't miss out on that one. It should be a good, not transfer tips video, team selection video. We've just done transfer tips, so team selection on Thursday, 8 p.m. UK time. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Anything else you want to add, Jordan?
Just thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you Thursday for the team selection.